What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Mike and the Minifans with your host, Fax, and I'm here today joined by Mr. PRC. What's up, man?
How's it going? Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Pleasure to be
Thank
here.
you for coming. And of course, the host of Menners Live, and now the booking agent for the Kirk Minahan show, Menners.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm sort of deep in the weeds, doing my new job, booking guests, a lot going on, so I'm going to take a break for a little while and
That's fair.
join you guys. But yeah, busy time for me, obviously, very exciting day, very exciting day.
Yeah, were you surprised that it just kind of worked? You just
No,
spoke into existence.
of course it was going to work because they're fuckwits in the studio, so it was always going to work. I had no doubt in my mind. And even if they didn't actually give me the official green light, I was still going to message Kirk with people's availabilities until he blocked me anyway. So it's much better this way.
Yeah, I mean, it made it a lot easier that it just kind of
Mm,
happened right
yeah,
off the bat. I agree. Okay,
yeah,
so that's Menners. That's 2 wins for Menners over the past
yeah,
3 weeks. So credit where credit is due. We had phone calls, and then on the phone call show, you get the booking agent job.
yep,
So
absolutely. I love doing unpaid work for Kirk. And I've got a list of people that are going into studio. Obviously, I'm going to keep a lot of them secret, but I think. I'm going to give one exclusive reveal. Fax is on that list. We're getting Fax in studio. That is going to happen, baby. You are going in there. The host of Mike and the Minifans has to be in there. So that is number one.
oh boy, I gotta get ready. Yeah, I let you know my availability, so we'll work it out. I'm excited,
Yep. PRC,
ready
the
to go
offer's
in.
open for you. You want to head up to Watertown, baby? Anytime you let me know.
I appreciate that, Manners. Thank you very
We need
much.
to diversify that panel. I mean, Jesus Christ. Let's get, I mean, if anyone's got some stories to tell, it's you. That's for sure.
I try.
Yeah, I mean, we had quite the interesting week because we started off with Paul in the background and Liberal Joe coming in. That
Mm.
was that was uh that was interesting, especially when he was a part of the debate. I think that was a lot more interesting than his appearance.
Yeah.
It gave
Well,
it gave
I
Go ahead.
can reveal Ted Sellers was available this week, but wasn't called upon. So that was a big miss. I
Oh,
mean, Ted was available a couple of days this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn. I mean, I love having Ted in, so that
Yeah,
sucks.
it's a
I
real
love
miss.
Ted
I mean,
episodes.
his schedule won't allow him in for another few weeks because he's a hardworking man. Like a lot of these Minute fans, they're fucking, working hard for America. Anyway,
Oh,
yes,
don't I know it.
yeah. Anyway, away from the bookings, yes, I thought he got better as the show went on, for sure.
Yeah, once he loosened up,
Yeah.
it was a lot nicer, and once he got on the rants, they were crazy, but they were, like, entertaining. I
Mm.
mean, psychotic for sure, but I don't know. Piercy, do you like having Joe in and Paul?
yeah,
Dynamic duo?
I like having an opposite side of the chair, kind of like an opposite viewpoint, because so many are like just far right, and they kind of have that idea. It's kind of nice to have another side, a dissenting opinion come in. So I enjoyed it, and it's always nice to have somebody new. Sometimes they're hit, sometimes they're miss. This is a pretty good one. I think this is a hit. I think he'll stick around for a while.
Okay, so you see a second appearance coming down the road.
I do.
Yeah.
Good,
I
good
mean,
first topic as well, Facts. What a
yeah, right, chronological. Caught
yeah,
you by surprise, didn't I?
yeah.
But, that moves on. I mean, he appeared again in the debate, and the debate was, like, my favorite thing of the week by far. That was awesome. Um, Montante obviously won. They did talk about it on the show, but I thought Montante won, but okay, Manners, you're shaking your head.
No, I mean, I think he might have edged it, but I don't think it's as. I mean, he was just yelling, abuse and couldn't hear half the questions. Like any tough questions, he just said, "Oh, sorry, I can't hear you." I mean, it was, it was actually a stellar performance to avoid tough questions. So I think you got to take a few points for not answering the questions.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've seen American politics, it's very, very similar to what we go through anyway. So, as far as we're concerned, I mean, that's exactly what we saw from the candidates this year, and that's Montante played it almost perfectly. Greg,
Mm.
yeah, he had it in the first half. It seemed even keeled, but then started separating once Montante got a little more pissed off.
He's
Pierce,
needed too many points too. Greg did.
Yeah. Well, he had like two
Just
strong.
like asinine points. Greg was like, okay, yeah. And you're debating somebody like Montante, you have to fact check like all the facts, like point by point, if you want to win like a debate like that.
Yeah, you got to have your ducks in a row.
Yeah.
That's what shuts him up. I mean, that's how Kirk shuts him up every time. It's like, but if you just kind of make 1 point and let him jump, it's over.
Oh yeah, if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile in
Mhm.
those arguments like that. So the key with arguing somebody like Montante is you can't give him an inch.
Oh yeah, and I loved the little appearances too. I thought, like, as stupid as it was, I thought liberal and conservative Coleman was funny. Mutt got cut. That's unfortunate. Mayo's video was psychotic. That's just that was scary as fuck. he didn't blink.
He's peak Mayo at the moment. He's really on a heater. I thought the whole production was really good. I mean, there was a couple of problems. Montante was way too loud for the whole thing. I don't know why they didn't like. Was that a setup? Do you think? Because that's one way. You just turn Montante's mic up. It just feels like he's talking over Polar the whole time. I mean, it was a setup, maybe.
Yeah, but then Montante, he gave himself a disadvantage too by not knowing how to unmute the fucking videos that we're playing. You know, like on StreamYard, it literally tells you press like the screen to unmute, and he's just like, "It's not fucking playing. It's not fucking playing." And
That's a good Montante impression.
it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah,
I was super entertained, and I did not expect that production level. Like, obviously, it wasn't just perfect, but it was pretty good.
Production level. I mean, that was on StreamYard. It wasn't that hard. But
Well, I know. I didn't even.
They did well.
I thought it was a Zoom call. I thought it was legitimately going to be a 2-person Zoom call with like Kirk's camera angle up there, but they added a little bit of spice to it, which I appreciated. That's really what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, and I thought it was good getting Tim, Ron, and Gus in studio.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, Ron gave nothing, but I appreciate that he's there.
My only other complaint was, and see, this is just me nitpicking, but can they learn to zoom a fucking camera? I mean, you've got Josh and James sitting there. You just got them sitting in their chairs, or just a whole shot of them.
Fucking table, see the whole thing.
You can see their fucking feet. Like, is it that hard to just zoom a camera in? And if there's like any restriction on that, fucking find a workaround. Like, move the chairs closer, move the camera closer, whatever you need to do. But if my only two complaints are Montante's mic was too loud and the cameras are never zoomed properly. Like, those two fucking Muppets, like they don't even realize you can adjust the cameras like once the show started. Like, just fucking walk in, and if it doesn't look good, make it look good. Like, Jesus, it's not hard.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with that. That's one of my nitpicks as well. Is I always hate sometimes the camera angles suck. Like,
we're content guys, Tim. We're content guys, so we get it.
Yeah, we want to see visually appealing stuff. I mean, I feel like that's not too much to ask for, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So we expect more from people.
Yeah, and Kirk responded today. He was saying on the call-in show that on the Aussie Minifan show, we were saying that Kirk doesn't care about the show, and yet he was there on Wednesday night doing this election. And when we say Kirk doesn't care about the show, I guess it's an optics thing. It's like, I know Kirk cares about the show, but you look at the optics, and this is something he doesn't understand. And it's funny because he's good at analyzing when he looks at other people, but he's not able to analyze himself in the same way. But he's got to understand the optics of brick. Can we get rid of that quote now? It's been up there the whole time. It's kind of distracting. What Kirk doesn't understand is the optics of bringing back someone who you basically fired for being lazy means, it seems like you're being a bit lazy. And, although you care about the show, maybe you just don't care about it enough to actually find a good producer. Like, that's the impression it gives. Like, it's an optics thing. I mean, Tim, you're obviously, a really institutionalized person. It starts at the top. So if Kirk hires somebody who's lazy and checked out, then it just seems like that can be infectious.
Oh yeah, no, I actually completely agree, and I hear that phrase all the time. Starts at the top. So when I do see something like that, like the shows aren't bad, but for the past couple weeks, when the show ends, you're like, I just felt like there could have been just more, just a little bit more.
Mm.
Like there's something missing after every show, and that's what's made me like. I still enjoy it, and I'm still having a good time, but I'm always just like there was something more. And for me, I think depending on how this next phase goes, that's what's really going to determine how Cullinane is. Because today on the show, Kirk said that his new enemy is taking on Chicago. And specifically throughout the calls, as we heard, Dan Katz himself, Big Cat. That I feel like if that goes, like this is kind of right back to at the beginning where he was going at the office. He was having all of these Barstool employees call in because they were trying to talk all the shit on Twitter, and it was this huge back and forth from Jack Mack, K Marco. He had what's in face, Robbie Fox, like all these people calling in all the time. If this happens like that with Chicago, we could get right back to that
Well,
peak
yeah,
stuff that a
anything
lot
to
of the
get
Minifans
away
come in.
from the Boston-centric shit that gets brought up every show. Like, no one cares about EEI that listens to this show. And actually, I would love to get under the hood and look at the analytics, because I would love to know if actually more people were listening to KMS when Coleman was producer. Because from my impression, it felt like when Coleman was producing, there was more Barstool buzz around the show. Like, obviously, we still get bits, but it just felt like it was more constant reactions from the other Barstool communities. And I wonder if that, affected consumption of the show. And, there are analytics. Like, if I were to be opened up and look under the hood, like you can see drop-off rates on certain platforms. So, you can see, okay, so for example, when Mutt's in, a lot of people are turning off around halfway, so that's a guess. That's a best guess. When Blind Mike's people are listening to the whole show, and you can also see obviously numbers of people listening. But I would guess that things were doing slightly better under Coleman, because we've said it before, but if you're some Joe Schmo in another part of America who likes Barstool and you hear them talking about Greg Hill ratings every show, like, and some guy called Maz, like no one cares about Maz outside Boston.
No, I
And
didn't give a fuck.
yeah, so I reckon the numbers would show Coleman got better consumption.
And I think it's like even past like the Boston centric, it's gotten like pop culture, world centric and stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and what I miss like the most of what's going on now is the community aspect. When like Coleman and Gus were there, you would always hear about, oh, this is going on in the Minifan world, or this is
Yeah.
going on this show, or this. And
We're
I
not
haven't
good
heard
enough for
that in a long
Dave.
time.
PRC, we're not good enough for Dave. That's all you need to know. That's it. You're just some idiot down south as far as he's concerned. Unless you go and murder someone or are involved in a murder case or start a TikTok account, he's not going to pay any fucking attention to you.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I think it's a good idea, like you were saying, to go towards the Barstool move, because before, when the show first started, you were going to attract people regardless, because everyone wanted to know what Kirk was about. Who is this Kirk Minahan guy? Why is he having this rivalry with everyone in the office? Oh, and if there's Boston radio stuff, you're just going to hear it, but everyone is jumping over because of the controversy. But now he's integrated into the Barstool world. So that's how most people are going to know him.
And I always used to criticize Coleman because he kept bringing up that chick. What was the girl
fucking, yeah. I don't even know her name. She did the Mean Girls show.
Mean Girls show, yeah. Alex. Was it Alex?
Alex Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kept bringing her up. That is on the same level as constantly bringing up EEI shit. So, I'm sorry, Coleman. I take all that back, because, that was actually probably just a notch above, because at least she's a hot chick. But anyway.
Yeah, but I think if they got more involved in the Barstool content, like we're hopefully about to see, this kind of stuff, that's the Barstool stuff we want to see. We like the criticisms. We like the everyone has to play fair, no one gets to be a favorite of nothing type of deal. And the Chicago and New York thing never really got brewing, and I feel like Kurt can be the one to do that. So I hope it actually goes well, especially going after Big Cat. That could be really, really interesting. Because he was notable Minifan during the basketball game era and a little bit after that. So
yeah, well, I mean, then something happened at Survivor. I mean,
yeah,
obviously, once that is released, then I imagine it's going to be war with Big Cat.
Yeah,
Unless it's a fake. Like Kirk is a bit of an evil genius. So, if he's letting anything out, that they could also be fakes. Like, we could be in a situation in surviving where, you know, Big Cat's got to decide on Kirk, and we all think, oh, well, Big Cat's going to kick Kirk out, and he goes the opposite way. So just keep that in mind. It could be a feint.
I believe that before until today. After today, with the phone call and revealing, where Big Cat is from and all of that stuff, basically just saying, oh, it's fake. That's stuff that he tries to hide and avoid quite a bit. So when it got right there, that's when I thought, okay, this is actually like legit.
Question: Is a 12-minute producer show enough? Like, if you're going to do 12 minutes, should you bother?
No, I didn't care for that at all. That was just.
So that's
No.
Dave's level of effort. Because I reckon Dave's feeling the heat a little because he's one of those guys that likes to be popular, and there is a bit of a groundswell of everybody likes Dave, but they think he's incompetent. He's he's like a, I don't know, a mimbo, like a male bimbo, right? And I think he's starting to feel the heat. So he doing these things. He's like, I should do a producer show so everyone gets off my back, but then you just do 12 minutes. Like, come on, man. Like, Men is Live, I can go on with like 2 minutes prep and talk about Minifan shit for half an hour like that. Like, let's go.
In the American corporate world, they call it a personality hire.
Mm.
It's when you hire somebody just because they got good vibes and stuff like that, and they don't actually do shit.
Yeah, but I mean, you got Gus with that, and at least that was entertaining.
Kirkster in the
I saw
chat.
It too.
12 minutes is better than nothing. Yes, it's bad, but you cry if they do nothing. Yeah, and I've just said, well, okay, they're doing something, but this is where you get to know someone's character. Like, okay, so Cullinane's level of effort is still bare minimum. I've got to do a producer show, but I'm just going to do like the bare minimum, which was 12 minutes, Kirk. So I'm giving him some credit for doing it. Like, I know he's feeling the pressure, but this is what we can get from Dave: 12 minutes of fluff.
Yeah, and for me, like that doesn't even reach the minimum standard. That's like the minimum standard would be like what we got the week prior, whereas like 25 minutes. Yep. And to split that in half and basically just pop in to say hi real quick, like, come on, if we want it, just like give us something to actually watch, not just like a quick check-in at the end. Oh, here's an update. Bye. You can tweet that shit.
Well, you also get 30 minutes of Justin eating.
Yeah, and I'm done. Oh no. No, I'm not gonna watch this poor Justin, just not wanting to say no and just willingly getting diabetes just because he left a piece of cake out on a table. Like, don't do that. But holy shit, just say no, Justin. It's okay. It's okay. Just say no. I'm not gonna do that. That sounds fucking gross. And then you move on with your life. It's okay to say no.
That's right.
That like this unwarranted fear of saying no to stuffing a whole fucking cake in your mouth with McDonald's on it is just ridiculous to me. I can't believe that. So like, and it's not content. Like, no one's like, finally, Justin's gonna eat the fucking rainbow sprinkled cake. This is what I've been waiting for ever since I saw Tim bring it in. No one wanted to see that. Kirk put you in a corner to see if you would fight back, and then you lost. You showed that you lost. It was just you showed your hand very quickly. Don't do that. I don't know. That was whack. I'm tired of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kirk came in a shitty mood, and they all of a sudden they dance around him. Like, he's just, that's what, like, you wouldn't remember this facts, but and I don't know if PRC you around, but on EI, Kirk would turn up in a shitty mood, and Jerry Callahan would just tell him to fuck off. Like, not in so many words, but he'd just laugh at him and say, "Oh, Kirk's in a mood today," and they'd have a great show because they'd be battling away at each other, and Jerry'd go, "I'm just going to needle Kirk while he's in a bad mood." So then he'd blow up, and they're just missing that. There's no kahunas.
Yeah, I mean, in the second half of that show, I think it did get better, but that wasn't intentional. It was just, it was funny because they kept fucking up, where it just kind of like they kept just missing the mark over and over again. And then Kirk finally was just like, good God, How do you motherfuckers not get this? Like
when he
Jimmy
read out the
Johnson.
race car, when he read
Yeah.
out the Jimmy Johnson thing, that was hilarious. And
you
Mike's reaction was gold. The Mike
Oh,
laugh
man.
is no one laughs better than Mike.
So that was good, but like you said, you'd rather have more of a let's see if I can poke the bear a little more. You know? Like that part of a show, really any show that you watch, it's always fun to have someone come in mad and then you have the secondary person or the co-host or the producer be like, "All right, let's see how far we can take this because this is going to be entertaining." But instead they just did it by being themselves, which is almost ironic in a way because it's like they gave you what you wanted by doing what we didn't.
Absolutely. And obviously, with Cullinane on that show, it's very personal for me because Nicole Kidman's, a fellow countryman and
Oh yeah.
another media star. And, I wrote down what Cullinane did on Thursday. So he added a headline to the KMS run sheet without reading any of the story. Now, if you are in media, headlines are clickbait. And I do run sheets fucking all week. You always have to click in. Now you only need to read the first two paragraphs because that is where the whole story is. That is the way journalists are taught to write. No one reads much. So in the first 100 words, you can get the gist of something. So Cullinane didn't even do that. He brings it up with this horrific take, tries to lead these people into this weird sort of thing about her lying about these orgasms. Kirk then decides to find out what the fuck is going on, and the second word of the story completely fucking throws out everything Cullinane said, makes it clear Cullinane has no idea what he's talking about. Then Cullinane's defense is that he saw the headline in multiple places. So when he was scrolling Twitter, he saw the headline a few times. At one point, he claims Nicole Kidman wrote the headline. I mean, it was just the most half-assed bit of work. And actually, someone pointed out, and maybe it's coming up in 3 Up, 3 Down, but which is at 9 p.m. tonight on the Menace Minifan Network. But didn't Gus get absolutely body bagged for not reading something when he was producer? So isn't there a double standard there? Thank you, Frederick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That was like one of my biggest defenses of Gus is like if there's gonna be he was hammered for fucking up a couple of things and just kind of like took the brunt of everything. And I said, hey, just put him on that probationary period because then eventually Gus could kind of like buff out Gus. I mean, obviously he's doing his own thing now, and yeah, everyone's tired of it. But like for that part, for that time being, a lot of the time it felt almost like over the top comparison to what Cullinan gets, way over the top.
And to further kind of compound what Menners was saying about the optics of how it looked when Dave left because he was just kind of half-assing it and then bringing somebody back who you let go for being half-assing things. Now you're getting into objective evidence that he didn't even click the headline to read the first 3 words of the article. I mean, it's very indicative of what they were saying. Yeah.
And then Mutt's point of exaggeration comes more and more to light every time because he got called out 3 times for it in one show. And that's just tough. And that's the one that Mutt wasn't even there, so he couldn't even retort. But that's the first thing I thought when I saw that headline. I was like, oh, well, Mutt was here. He'd be talking about the exaggeration because that was the biggest example. That was the most prime example you could have had all week. It's insane.
Absolutely. And I do think Justin's, I mean, I've said this on a few shows, but there's absolutely no doubt Justin has regressed since Cullinane came back. He has slipped back into being the junior intern type role. I mean, we're getting the bits and nothing else. It is just, it is fucking tumbleweeds at the moment from Justin.
Yeah, and I mean, for this, I wouldn't say it's necessarily Justin's fault. I would say it's just kind of Justin's nature, who he is. When you have someone like Coleman or Gus, it's easier to take charge because it's just I'm the guy who works with Kirk. You're just the new guy who's coming up, or you're a former minifan who's coming up. But when Cullinan comes in, Cullinan is kind of like, hey, Kirk, our casing, blah, blah, blah. Looking back at Justin, you're not a part of this, so shut up. Hey, Kirk, this thing happened with Dateline. Looking back at Justin, and then Justin, he can't do anything or isn't going to do anything about that. He's not going to blow
Cullinane
up.
was so happy when Justin fucked up with that Jimmy Johnson thing. He was so happy that the heat was off him. You could tell.
Oh yeah, I mean, luckily he didn't get away with it for too long because that just really, ended up just saying Kirk off all the way with the fucking orgasm shit. But he's I don't know. That's what like I said. This newfound rivalry that's going to be happening is really going to show how much. If this is disappointing, that's for me. That's it because this has so much potential. And like I got excited hearing it today, and I'm a big Cat fan. I've said it before. I am. So like, if I'm even excited about this, just because who knows what could happen, you know? You never know what could be revealed because he already started off with a hot one today with the calls. So there's a lot of, it's going to be very interesting in how the Chicago thing progresses.
Where did your allegiance lie, Tim?
My allegiance lies to the guy who entertains me every single day of the week and consistently does, and then also allows me to be a part of his world.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. No, Kirk Minahan. Without a
Kirk
doubt.
Kirk will be 50 this week.
Yeah.
Thursday.
He's going to be double my age, Menners. Double my age. Great. That old fuck. Oh my god.
Conversation killer.
Conversation additive.
But I wonder if there's going to be anything special, or like clearly Kirk doesn't want to do anything for his own birthday, but you know, it's up to us to do something. So I don't know. I think like all the Minifans should just put out birthday videos on Twitter for him. Like just everybody record a video and put it out on Twitter. Do your best, because that I reckon that's just a good way of showing how much he means to you.
Shut up, Bobby. I agree. I'll do it. I'm down.
And then we're not asking the producers to do anything. Like then they're not going to disappoint us, because you know Justin and Cullinane probably don't even know it's his birthday. You know, maybe they just book some random guy to come in on Thursday.
No. What's going to happen? Justin's going to come in some fucking stupid ass costume because it's going to be Halloween.
Cake with lots of the biggest cake in the world.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit. And he's going to sit down, and then it's just going to be completely nullified. The point of just his birthday. It's going to be like, what's up with the stupid fucking costume? That's how it's going to go right off the get-go. I see it now in my head. I don't know what it would be, but that would be great. But yes, make a video. Go ahead. Let's do it. Let's make the producer's job easy. And maybe even wear a costume. You know, it's Halloween. Yeah, so in the spirit of the holiday.
Go crazy, Minifans. Like, dude, you know, you can do whatever with these videos.
Yeah, these days we're hanging on by a fucking thread out here. So let's get some
momentum back. Twitter light up with Kirk's 50th. Now let's show Barstool what the Wildlings can do.
There you go. And Freddie makes a good point. Speaking of 50, the top 50 list, you talked about it briefly, and then Kirk went over it. So what's going on with that? What's the update? Because you have a meeting with that, don't you?
Well, after this. So there's no Metas Live at 9 p.m. and graciously jumped on here at the last minute. And instead of Metas Live, I'll be airing 3 Up, 3 Down at 9 p.m. on the Metas Minifan Network. You've got PRC, who's doing a great job tonight, and you've got Kane is Able and Mama K. So that's what's happening at 9. While that's going on, and that's a pre-recorded show, Mama K, Frederick, myself and Ned Snark are meeting to basically lock down the list. So we've got a list now, goes up to just about 60. It's pretty good. There's a couple of question marks I've got about the list. Depending on how the meeting goes tonight, we will then schedule in a live show where we unveil the list and we go through the reasons why people are where they are. And that will be, in the next, I would say that show won't be next weekend because I'm cricket commentating 4 days in a row. So I'll be out next week pretty much. But then it'll probably be the week after. So, gives us a bit of time to sort of sleep on our decisions, reflect on, this is important. Like people think this is a joke, this is something that will be etched in the annals of history for generations to come. And I'm still really struggling after what happened last year. I mean, sort of thinking about it, when I was crying like a bitch, earlier this year, I think you can sort of track the start of that to when the top 50 list fell apart. So, yeah, we're going to right those wrongs this year.
All right. And
DJK is not in the list. DJK is not on the list. I'm telling you, he ain't on that top 50 list. And that's unanimous. Like, I don't think anybody, like I'm not actually. I'm sort of the arbiter. Like I'm helping the three of them get the best result. I'm a facilitator. I'm a deal maker, and I'm telling you, none of them have DJK on their list.
And from what my
this little fuckwit.
My understanding is essentially what the list is. It's like the top 50 people or characters in the history of KMS that allow people to get to know the show. It's like these are the most influential characters on the show.
Yeah,
essentially,
it's
right?
impact. So it's
Yeah,
the KMS top 50, not the Minifan, because
not the
Kirk's a
Minifans. Yeah.
Minifan, and it is basically impact on the show and the length of that impact. So, you know, obviously, if someone had a very strong impact for 3 months, but someone has had a very strong impact for 3 years, then obviously that person who's be higher up the list. And Mama K did a really good job of breaking down impact into sort of different categories as a way of just sort of analyzing, you know, the impact someone's had. So, you know, how often they go in studio, are they on the network, are they on Twitter, you know, all this stuff. Do they call in? Like we were able to get quite granular in our analysis. And, you know, I think this panel has performed excellently. I can't speak highly enough of the three of them. And we're going to get a good result. Like this is not going to be a clusterfuck like last year. Like you just that'll be erased from our memories shortly, and we will have a list we were all proud of.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. All right. I'm excited for it to come out because I remember at the end of last year, I had taken a little bit break just because I got busy with the new kid. And then when I was coming back, it was right when the list had dropped. And I just remember seeing this explosion. But obviously for me, I didn't know what was going on. But now kind of looking back, I was told to review the video from last year or the review from last year. So I'm going to have to go back and just see the train wreck that it was now that I have a better understanding. It's going to be very, very interesting. But for you, Menor, so your plan is going pretty smoothly so far, and Kirk integrated it pretty well too as far as these calls go. I'm liking this every other week calls thing. It's like it's something to look forward to when the calls are coming to versus before we're all just standing there hoping that one day like we'll get some calls. But now that people can prepare their bits and everything, it's perfect. My favorite call today was the Austin call. I love that one because on the unnamed,
yes,
yeah, Austin, the owner of Barstool, the one who runs Barstool, that was fucking great. So I was excited, but I'm very happy that they do the every other week thing for the calls. I wish I wasn't busy. I do miss calling in, given my facts, but
yeah, I had two favorite calls today. Obviously, the Peter Menahan resume was just, I mean, that is why we take calls. Like, that is gold. Like, you know, you would not get that on any other show. That's what makes this show incredible. And
yeah.
So we got that. And also, you know, I love the call that suggested they've got to stop putting that fucking Bobby Costa song on at the end. And I know Bobby's in the chat, and this is no offense. You're a talented kid. I like you a lot. But that song, honestly, if I decide to end it, it'll be because of that song. Like it is just like I've told this story before, but my biggest nightmare now is when it comes on my phone is too far away from me to be able to stop the song straight away.
Every now and then I listen through it.
Oh, I listen through it all the time. It has grown on me.
I didn't hear the original.
It's a great buzzkill, that's for sure.
I didn't hear the original till like yesterday. No shit, because I don't really listen to country. And all of a sudden, it was playing on my TV, and Tennessee Whiskey, Chris Stapleton came on. I was like, first thought I had when that first note hit. I was like, Bobby.
Live in the South?
No, I didn't grow up in the South. I grew up in the Midwest.
Well, yeah, but you're in the South.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Georgia, it doesn't count. Horrible state. Horrible state. That's right. Moving on. That doesn't matter.
What other topics you got for us, Fax?
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about is something that wasn't talked about this week. The Amazing Race or the Minifans across America. I want that to have legs. So I was kind of upset it wasn't brought up this week because that would be awesome content.
Do you think that was the announcement? Do you think that's the announcement? They were teasing an announcement, and do you think it's that they're close to having a sponsor or getting a deal done where it's going to happen?
That could be it. I don't know, because I just felt like they would have alluded to it a little bit more. I think the announcement was supposed to be something new or something. Like something new that was going to be coming up later, because Kirk had also mentioned that November was going to be a big month. I don't think he meant just specifically the whole Chicago thing. I think he meant just for the show in general, like there was going to be another thing coming. But yeah, the Minifans across America, everybody was all in on that.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the next week, they're just kind of like, because like it would. And then Kirk continued to joke about how the producers aren't doing anything, and then the producers were just like, "Yep," like, no, dude, no, get on it. Like this is just like. This is content that literally everybody's asking for.
No, first it was so Ryan, that guy who suggested it, and John in Scranton were keen to just take the ball and get things moving and try and make it happen. But Kirk's first move was to go, oh, they're just not really involved, and sort of piss them off. So, so then he's leaving it up to Justin and Cullinane, and we know how that's going to go. I mean, I have had hundreds of people tell me they don't think this is going to happen. So I'm in for it if it happens, but I'm not holding my breath.
I don't know. I want it to happen. Like it's just I'm gonna remain optimistic, but at the same time, I guess it's just gonna really depend on the Minifans clamoring and kind of like putting the pressure on for it. Because nowadays it seems to be the only thing that's kind of getting the things that we need in there, with the calls and probably a few other things that I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but I want Minifans across America. PRC, you with me on this?
I'm with you, and I want it to happen. I'm more with Menners in that I'm not holding my breath as well. The feasibility just seems it would take a huge team to put that together, to scale it, to organize it. As much as I love it to be a thing, and I want it to be a thing, the feasibility seems way out there. But I hope so.
I feel like it wouldn't take a huge team. No. I feel like as long as you just keep it simple, like don't set your expectations through the roof. It's not going to be like CBS Amazing Race type quality shit. It's going to be exactly what you expect, a YouTube version of an Amazing Race show across, but it's like a road trip show. So it's going to be little GoPros. You can have different people with built-in Wi-Fi. Like all cars have like built-in Wi-Fi in their vehicles nowadays. So you can just use that, add them all to the StreamYard, cut to the different camera angles. There's probably 1,000 different ways you can do it with the way that technology is. So I feel like you could do it, and then have John and Brian or whomever the fuck be at each stopping point waiting for them. Maybe get them a fucking helicopter. Maybe that would be the most expensive part. Fly them in and just make it. I don't know. Make it fucking happen. That's my conclusion. Make it fucking happen. It's gonna be awesome. Make it awesome. Content, that's the shit that keeps everybody coming back, is content like that where we get to have fun with our community. So,
yeah, but you're saying like all those people just became responsible tech wizards overnight? I mean,
no, because that's what the stops are for. The stops are for like tech checks, car checks, things like that. I'll fucking be at each stop and I'll just change a tire, change oil, fix a camera. I don't care. It's fun, dude. It's like, okay, you want to make something happen, make something happen. That's kind of like.
I agree with that. Yeah.
You're hired to do it, so do it. That's
you might as well go for it.
That's how I break it down. You're hired to do it, just fucking do it. Make it happen. Don't have an excuse. Don't say why. Don't say, oh, this and this. No. This is what the show wants. This is what we're gonna do. Done. No fucking arguments. That's an institution.
See, this is what the show does to you, Fax. Like it is like it is. You're slowly getting madder and madder the more you do Mike and the Minifans. Because what happens is the more you lock into it, like I do. Like people think Manners is crazy. He's a fucking lunatic. But we are just so locked in to the show. Because we're doing like Mike and the Minifans and shit, you get so frustrated with these things. Like you just want to fucking punch something because it's so frustrating.
Yeah, because you get so entertained from the base level of the show. The fact that the show itself is entertaining is already fun enough. But then when you see the potential of the content of like these little things, and it's just like how executable they are, how easily they could be made, and then everything, like when it falls short enough, oh man, Menners, you're getting, yeah. Like I felt it this week. I was like, I'm starting to get why Menners and everyone else I talked to was like this. Because before it's like, oh yeah, I like the show. Now I'm like, give me fucking more shit. Do your job. Like, oh man. But yes, hopefully they get the message. Because come on, boys, let's make it happen. It's not. Like
all I've been told is early spring's the aim.
Okay, and that would be good. And then November. I don't really know what else. Oh, the live showing. That's the other thing too. Their Aaron Hernandez episode. For that week, because that would be like the 12th or something when it would
Yep.
air. I think I said last week I was going to try to be there for that because I do want to
Yeah.
see that. But I'm going to have to like
Look-
binge watch that series because I haven't watched a fucking episode. I've seen the clips, but
I don't think it matters whether you've seen the show, Tim.
yeah, I agree.
And that's the week we're going to get you in studio.
All right, I'm ready to do it.
Yep.
Maybe with that passion, it'll be a little more entertaining rather than before Pinocchio.
Are you prepared for, like, there'll be deep, dark demons that maybe you don't even know you have that Kirk's going to find. So are you ready for that?
Possibly. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. That's for sure. Because I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to be like, yep, I got no idea how to play my cards. Do I be subdued? Do I be conversational? I'm like, I'll figure it out. Maybe
Yeah,
just take a couple extra Zoloft that day, chill out a bit.
Yep, do the Montante approach. Just load up on the Adderall and hit it.
Lock in.
Yeah, no, Pat Ford does the Zoloft. He's the three Zoloft at breakfast kind of thing.
Very big advocate for that ever since he started. He's been like trying to sell it. Pat,
Yeah.
relax a little bit, man. Don't be selling antidepressants to people. Don't be shoving that down people's throats. It's good that you're taking care of yourself, and I appreciate that. But it's a very specific drug.
Yeah,
that
he's
does
not a doctor. I don't think you should be giving out medical advice on Twitter to people. And also, I reckon the Minifans are above the national average of consumption of antidepressants. Like if 25% of Americans are on some kind of antidepressant, it's probably much higher in the Minifan community.
You're just preaching to the choir already, buddy. Like we've been in this mix.
What was his Ron's on about his Lexapro?
Yeah, I was on that for like a month and a half. I hated that, but
yeah.
Lexapro sucks.
Yeah, no.
I have tried it.
I got. There you go. Party with Lexapro.
It's not that different to a party pill. It's not that different. It's not as fun, but it's cleaner, but it's not that different.
Yeah, it's still it made me feel
it's
weird.
not nearly as fun.
No.
I can't say military. I don't do anything.
Yeah, you know what we're talking about.
Clean as a whistle.
Yeah. Yep. June 13th, 2025. All right. Last thing, the last big thing I wanted to touch on though was this whole Tate back and forth, because we've talked about it a little bit, but overall, like, how do you feel about what happened? Because Tate, I was actually on his side at first, but then on the Unnamed show, he cowered like a puppy, like Kirk said. And then when he submitted, it was just like, it was over. It was, I couldn't believe it. And also, Kelly made a point that I didn't expect her to make, is that he never just like relaxes. He's always so defensive about everything. He has to be right. He has to be right. And he has to prove to you how smart he is all the time. And I think that's what Kirk was trying to say, is just like, dude, you either do the bit or you don't. But like, same thing with Kirk when he goes to the offices, he can have a conversation. It's not this combative weird thing.
He's just bad at it. He's just bad at fighting. He's obviously a good writer. I'm not a Barstool guy, so I don't know. I don't read his shit, but he was just bad. He's bad at fighting on air. He's a little whiny bitch, and he just didn't make, like, he just never lands the plane. Like he was just talking in circles. And I want Kirk to destroy him one day. Like, he's got it coming. Like, he's going to get taken. Tate, he's going to get taken down. What do you think, PRC?
And then Keegs, I thought she did a good job of taking it like out of frame, out of context, because when you're looking at it from like Tate, the content creator, getting clicks, getting views, and all that stuff. And when Keegs was like, "No, you're really just an asshole to us all the time, and no one likes you because of that, and you really, really, we don't want to be around you." It kind of made me seem like, oh shit, like it made me fall towards more what everybody else was saying and less away from Tate.
Yep, that was essentially what I was doing. And then I started noticing all the patterns, like, immediately when she brought it to light, where it's like, look at it from this person's perspective.
Yeah.
And then you saw so many times that Tate, when he was arguing with Dave and with Kirk, because, Whitney Whitney didn't give a fuck about that show, man. Whitney is, his earbuds might as well be out. Just do your hockey thing, man, I guess. This is the Dave and Kirk show. But when Tate was arguing with those two, he just kept referencing his blog. So he's just like, I already wrote it down. It's like, dude, we get it. You're a good writer. But if you're going to be doing this content like you're saying you do, you got to be able to defend yourself on air and be able to be a little bit more, not just saying, "Oh, you're a mental midget. I'm in your head. You read my blogs. You do this." It's just no
what's
shit, man.
more interesting than talking about Tate? Sorry to cut you off because this is gonna drive the audience away. Where's Portnoy gone? Like he's a shell of his
he's
former self.
gone.
He is so scared. Like the way he reacted with the chicken fry stuff. Like there was not a shred of fun with that. Like he was legitimately, dancing around it. It was like, what's going on?
It's a whole string of things. He's like, because at first, a couple months ago, he wouldn't let anybody talk shit about Deion Sanders because he's like, well, Deion's my friend and all that. And now to do it with the, couldn't tell the chicken fries story and just, he's lost it, man. It's weird.
Yeah, and he was before needlessly defending the New York office, like before the whole Tate thing, when there was a little bit of conflict too. He's like, "Oh, well, New York does this and this and this," versus before when he was in the office the entire day, he was talking shit and stirring things up, and all of a sudden he's just chilling in Miami, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not. I don't want to go into this. I don't want to go into that." Before he was like threatening people's contracts live on air. He was like threatening people's lives live on air, and all of a sudden now it's just like, oh, I don't want to talk about contracts, I don't want to do this. I took away Barstool Radio because you guys don't talk about the Barstool shit, but when Kirk brings up the Barstool shit, I'm not going to talk about it. Like now, what is it going to be like in 2 weeks? We get Wine Hour again, is that what we're going to do? Like let's let's get back into it, man. Bring it back to fastball. Like even if you go back and listen to the old episodes of KMS, Kurt called that out from the get-go. He's like, this is what Barstool is supposed to be. This is supposed to be this conflict. And he brought it up again this week. It's supposed to be this revolutionary conflict or resolution of conflict that just kind of goes around it. It starts, has a climax, it gets resoluted, and then you start again. Like, we need that for entertainment. That's all it is. No one should take it as seriously.
You can make entertaining stuff sound really boring. That's quite a talent.
Try.
And also Whitney's got to stop fucking mailing in unnamed show. Like he's got to bring some shit to the table. Like Whitney never has any sort of contribution to the unnamed show. Like, and when he did, it was, it was about the biz. What was the RA when he was off the show? Like that was interesting. But he's got to actually bring some stuff to the table.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was saying. Like, if you're just gonna sit there and like take out the earbuds and just hang out for an hour,
just sits there holding his, microphone the whole time,
trying to hold.
Yeah,
he just has dumb.
I agree, Kirk.
Kirk, hold on, Kirk. Dave,
Yeah.
no. Oh, it's a little Australian. Can't do the Boston accent, but
I can't do
it. Dave, come on, man. No,
it's a pretty. For Minifans, it's a pretty great 1-2. Like KMS,
I do love Ryan
Whitney. Unnamed. Okay, thank you. But it's a pretty good 1-2. Like KMS into unnamed. Like that's like, like that was 3.5 hours of Kirk content on Thursday, and which is good because you get him from with shitheads in the studio to then Portnoy and Whitney. I mean, it's the Kirk tour day.
It's essentially just an extension. It's an extension of the show with other people's perspective. Like they might as well just be in the studio because Kirk.
Like I found myself staying up way too late watching it. Like even KMS airs at mid 12:30 a.m. now in Sydney, and even this Thursday I was up playing PlayStation 5, and I rolled straight into unnamed show. Found myself up till like 4 a.m.
Whew. No, that's what on Thursdays usually what I do since I'm at work in the morning is when I go to lunch, I'll listen to Unnamed and then go back. But yeah, it's like it's part of the daily routine because usually every time for me it's at lunch start the show. But having the Unnamed show for the past few weeks, I guess more so, has been more of an extension of the show because like there was that month and a half where it was just it was hanging on by a fucking thread. And if this stuff sorry, I had to gather my thoughts. But with Kirk announcing his whole thing, I feel like now with the Unnamed show getting everyone else involved, this is just going to be rolling. Like I said, expectations are very fucking high. So Cullinane, don't fuck this up. Justin, don't fuck this up. Kirk, don't fuck it up. I don't know.
Prepare to be disappointed. Like that's what Cullinane will do to you. Just be ready. Just don't expect too much. That is, and it still rings true, and I stick to it. When Cullinane, for the second year of his second term, so remember he's had 3 goes, at producing, so third time lucky. Hopefully it works out. But in the second go, the first year he was fine. The second year, he was literally, he's just like a 5 or 6 out of 10 producer. He just does producer. He
6
just
out of
does.
10 prosciutto.
That's pretty good.
I love it.
But he's a 6 out of 10 producer, and that's so don't expect to not be disappointed, because for us a pass mark is probably 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah, but this is I feel like this is part of the integration, the initiation into the Minifan world. I need to have that moment where I get my hopes very high, and I need to be crushed, so I become cynical.
Yeah.
Because I can already feel it brewing inside of me, like, man, if this shit doesn't happen the way I want it to, or the way I expected it to, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I'm not gonna become a hater of the show. It's just gonna be this shit that we're doing today, where it's gonna be like more, or get this fucker out, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
Patriots think again. Menas, can you give us a couple of hints on the guests you're thinking about? So look, I've already let a couple out of the bag, and I've said I'm going to get facts in there. He's spoken pretty clearly that he's got some time off coming up, and he'd love to go in. And I think I'll take you into my reasoning behind it. I mean, you can hear how locked in he is to the show. He's doing Mike and the Minifans on the network every Friday night. He is someone you should get in. And if facts stinks, which he will, fine. It's a one and done. But I've made a kid's dream
moving on.
True. I made made a kid's dream come true. The other one I've put out on Twitter is Kevin from Bristol is going in for a show. Like, that ban is done. Kevin will be in ASAP. And then I have another 10 people sort of on the list already.
What do you have, like an Excel spreadsheet?
Vet the guests, or are you going to roll the dice?
What was that?
Are you going to vet the guests, or are you just going to roll the dice?
Some have been vetted. I mean, obviously, I know Kevin, I know Tim, I know quite a lot of the people that I'm going to send in there, and some of the people, like, they're not, you'll know these people have been in before. It's just like, where have they been lately, kind of thing.
Yeah, Steve from Gloucester. Yeah,
Steve from Gloucester. That's an interesting one.
You should just tell nobody about that one and be like, next guest is a surprise.
Yeah.
That would be horrible. Fucking idiot.
So yeah, Tim in Canton, I don't think wants to go in too much at the moment. But yeah, anyway, so Patriots thinking, and that's the plan. Basically, Cullinane and Justin had already booked some people for next week, and I don't want anyone cancelled. I would never pull the rug from underneath someone. So, once those bookings are done, I think my bookings will start to slip in. We'll break the glass ceiling. We'll allow some females in there. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Females.
Lucy Burge, let's go. Oh no, she works for another betting company, unfortunately.
Oh man, that conflict of interest.
Then I would really be on to Cullinane and Justin about the camera angles. I'm like, okay, we need to fix these cameras.
No. I mean, Kirk really only outlined one rule today, so
Yeah, and I would like Mutt benched for a while, but it's not. I can't really tell people not to go in. Like, I think I can get people in, but if Kirk says Mutt's my friend, he's coming in. Like, I don't care. It's not like I'll quit the job if I'm not allowed to bring people in. I'll quit. Like, it's either you let me. Like, if Kirk goes, oh, I said Kevin's banned, well, I'm out. Like, no. You don't make me executive producer of booking guests, and then because you're a bit sensitive. So no way. But yeah, ideally, I think Mutt should be benched for a few weeks. Let him finish at Mohegan Sun. Let him do his thing, and maybe consider coming back. I mean, he's boring now. Like, he can talk, like he can roll with it, but he's like a Cullinane. Like, there's nothing there.
So when you tweeted when he was unavailable, you meant you made him unavailable?
I didn't even see the tweet, but if he's
no, you tweeted that.
Yeah, Mutt's going to be shit canned as soon as possible.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So do you have like a no-go list as well, kind of like how Kirk does, in a way where you're just like, there's somebody who just like, I have no interest in booking, I have no interest in seeing, like, other than Mutt, obviously, who you're sidelining, but do you have like more of a list of there's no way?
Not really. I haven't got there yet. I'm sure there'll be some, but I try not to let my personal squabbles interfere with the good of the show. So,
Yeah.
show first. Show first. All right, wrap this up, Fax. We're going way too long.
I
In
thought
3
we had
minutes,
a great show.
3 minutes, we've got 3 up, 3 down on the Menace Minifan Network. So, Minifan, it is. I've already watched the episode. Mama K, Kane, PRC on fire. Go and fucking hit that straight after this. Hit the chat. It's going to be lit.
No, don't
That's
ever
a
say
good
that
thing.
again. Don't ever say that again. But I'm a
Perfect.
neutral party, so
Give it-
yes, go watch the show. 3 up, 3 down with PRC. And Kane and Mama K. It's gonna be great. I'm sure. I'll watch.
Good.
But other than that, thank you everybody for watching Mike and the Minifans. Thank you PRC so much for coming
Thank you,
on.
Justin
I'm sorry,
Timberlake.
Manners and I talked over you.
Thank you, Kirkster. Thank you, Patriot Stinking In. Thank you, Timmy Riz.
Bye.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Kane. Thank you, Bakey. I'm playing FIFA 25. Thank you.
All right.
Well, we've got through
Play
all
the
of
music.
Thank you, Patrick Crowley. Thank you, Jess. Thank you,
Loves PRC.
Freddie Lynn. Thank you, Bobby Costa. Thank you, Memes, you absolute prick. Go kill yourself. Thank you, Parker.
Not that part.
Thank you, Kirkster. Yep.
You got it? All right.
Obviously, I'm joking. Don't no one kill themselves. Mikey, grab bags. Let's end it.
All
Thank
right.
you,
See you guys
wonderful.
later.
Play the
Bye.
music. Play the music.